fault that this podcast is not popular. This is our very first episode. I'm Muse.
I am Justin.
And we are from the OASG. We're just kind of winging it today.
We're literally winging it. Like, we came together on a Sunday and decided, we're just gonna record a podcast out of the blue. No planning or anything like that. We just decided to go for it. Right, Muse?
Right, because we've recorded podcasts before about anime and conventions, and
I still remember that convention we actually did a recording at.
Yes.
Like, it was, we was at a hotel. It's like a bunch of people there. And when we planned that podcast, we were thinking, there's not that many people here. It should be perfect for Saturday. Then we realized we didn't know what the heck we were talking about, and
we had no clue.
There was a lot of people there. The water was running.
Yeah, for people who never heard that, I was at Anime Expo 2015. It was the last night. I at least was very sleep deprived. Did not know what was happening the whole 4-day weekend. But I am not sleep deprived today. But since we're trying to make this more of a bi-weekly anime news podcast for the OASG, and just starting this up in general, but we're just kind of winging it right now because we've started the winter season. We're in the middle of it, but there's not too much going on news-wise because everybody's just kind of taking in the new shows. And
yeah, it's early. We have a long way to. Well, it's not too long, but we have a ways to go, I guess.
Yeah, it's January. It's not not a ton going on in the anime news world at the moment. It's just all the new premieres and everything. But before we get into that, we do have some things that we want to talk about. There was the Funimation Now announcement,
complete with a creepy logo.
Yes.
That is the one thing, like, out of everything,
that
our entire trip was them at CES, and they were just talking about everything they were doing that's all branding and keywords heavy. The interesting thing to
right is you had that article that's on the website now that explains what they were going for with that logo, which was illuminating to me. But I was a little put off by the logo just because of the lack of eyes. I think even if they had eyes on it, like even just generic lines or something, I feel like I would have been more okay with it than I currently am. It creeps me out a little bit, the smile with the lack of any other, not adverse, but just a little hesitant, I guess, to accept it.
Well, it's supposed to be for the new fans, and it's supposed to replace the old and, bring some newness, I guess, to the company, I guess. When I saw it, I literally just thought it was, because I know they had the rights to it, so I'm thinking, they're trying to advertise that. That's their new logo. What the heck?
I think it would be interesting if they, design the logo for, each title that they have. Make it, like you said, you have Koro Sensei on the Assassination Classroom release, or have, Colossal Titan face on future Attack on Titan releases.
That sounds like so much effort. It really does.
It does. That would take a lot. I think even just a little bit, like having, say, Tokyo Ghoul put an eye patch on it. Something like that. Just, some sort of indication. I think that could be fun, but that would take a ton of effort. I will say for the streaming announcement, because they've been promising for years that they are going to be fixing their streaming service. And I'm saying as a subscriber, I'm very happy about that, because I have had problems with videos on a basic level.
It's interesting. Like, I've had that problem too, but then what happens? I got a new laptop, and then since I got my new laptop, I've been able to stream without any problems. It's just a case of it looks like it's a little dark. To me, at least, like when watching Funimation, it looks a little dark, and then the subs can be a little inconsistent. So it's just a case of, okay, what would this new site accomplish? One, it's obviously going to improve the streaming service so everybody can actually go stream and watch videos on their site. And then two, it's going to stream to the United Kingdom.
That's a big deal.
That's the big deal. The big deal. How big a deal is it going to be when? Let me see. I think, like this was pointed out when I wrote the article, I think Niemo brought it up, like how there's already services here services in the UK that stream.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what can Funimation do to corner that market? Well, if their service actually is like superior or whatever, or actually has like features that other other companies can't do, then it's going to be hard to compete against.
Yeah, they could definitely make headway into that market, I think, if they really go for it. I feel like they do have something to offer there, because I haven't seen like the UK doesn't have the same variety of choices that we have over here in the US. Like we could go 10 websites off the top of my head. We could go to our apps or tabletop streaming, all kinds of stuff. The UK has had increasing options, but it's not the same as there's more Crunchyroll licenses, things like that. But it's not the same as the US, and Funimation could definitely make some headway there if they really go for it. I'm hoping that it's not just something that gets announced and then just kind of there or dropped. Like, probably not going to be the same deal at all, but I just keep thinking of that Nico Nico deal they had a few years ago.
I still remember.
Nothing happened.
I still remember just going to that panel way back when. It seemed like a really big announcement. Yeah, it was definitely supposed to be a big thing, but they just couldn't work anything out together, I guess, as it turned out. So that was a wasted partnership.
Yeah, so there is definite potential, but I'm kind of in that wait and see mode, and also just for streaming on this side of the ocean, that I haven't had any problems watching anything on their website in a while, but I have had problems with artifacting, or just they have that little playlist thing for each show. I can't get that box to scroll for whatever reason. Things like that, just stuff that should be working on their website through their player. That just doesn't function the way it should, so I'm hoping that it does. And I'm hoping that they might decide to add eyes to their logo, so I don't feel like it's trying to eat me or something.
I'm sorry. I don't think you can do anything about that.
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
I definitely feel what they were going for with that announcement, that they wanted it to be, more open and more for new people. I like their new font style. That definitely, that part about saying that it would scale better. I can definitely see what they're saying for that. Well,
it was very interesting. I had no idea what the term ownable means. I had no idea what it meant. I should say that. Mm-hmm. I had no idea what it meant. So all I did was, was this... Because when he sent it to me, it was separate. So it was ownable. I thought it was together, or if it was together, or I just went to check. So most places had it as together. The first article that pops up is the Forbes article that says, yes, ownable is a horrible term. It's not really good. So it made me go, ooh.
Yeah, it just as an English teacher that made me go on the grammar end. But I can see what they're going for, though, and I wish them luck. So I will put a link in the show notes for this episode in case anybody listening wants to know what we are talking about with Funimation Now, what they're planning on doing, what their goals are for their new streaming service, which is not, as another article we put out, is not them entering the streaming market. They've been in the streaming market for years.
No, they haven't. That's what they want you to believe. Just all you guys need to know. Look for it in February. Then we can criticize it.
Yes. Yeah. This was just our hopes for what it might become. we will revisit this and see what happens, because I'm keeping my subscription going. So we'll see what happens. And then our next topic is Pokemon 20th anniversary, also next month in February.
Why is this on the script again? What's going on here?
Because nostalgia, Justin.
Nostalgia.
And they have been they've been going really hard on the marketing for the people who grew up with Pokemon, especially the people like me who were introduced to it through the anime, things like that. They're re-releasing the first 3 movies. They're re-releasing the first 3 games, first gen. They're really going hard for that market. So what are your thoughts on that? Because I know what mine are.
Yeah, I clearly know what your thoughts on. I am actually interested in the Gen 1 games because obviously I grew up on Pokemon as well. Like it was definitely a thing in my childhood. Can't forget the "Gotta Catch 'Em All" moniker. You can't forget who's that Pokemon. I obviously can't forget the hours and hours I spent trying to catch all the Pokemon in the games. So yeah, it's big. Like this is going to be a particularly big year, especially since they're going mobile with Pokemon Go. So it's definitely interesting to see where it's going to go from here.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing more on the anime side of this. I'm interested in seeing how I believe it was Viz that's doing the Blu-ray release for the first 3 movies.
Okay.
And at least the first one has been out of print for a while. So I'm interested in seeing, what kind of, if any, kind of upscaling job, that kind of deal.
Do you know if it's just the dub?
I do not know if it's just the dub. That's a good question. I know that's going to be included, for sure. Because, again, they're going really hard on the nostalgia.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure that will be in there. If it is Viz that's handling it, which I'm going to look that up. I'm pretty sure it's Viz that's handling it. If it is, I'm pretty sure it'll be dual audio. But...
It'd be interesting because I'm pretty sure most people have not heard the Japanese version of Pokemon, so it'd be...
Yeah, I know I haven't, so I would be interested in hearing it at least.
I actually had bought... There was this is a while ago. I had the first 3 Pokemon movie DVD already, but it only just has a dub. So I don't know if I'll double dip because obviously I'm not that close to Pokemon anymore, but I am close to those first 3 movies. Those 3 movies were important. Like I still remember the first time, like I went with my cousin and did my sister go with me? It was either me and my cousin, I think my sister and my aunt. We went to see the first Pokemon movie together. So it's definitely a good memory thing, that's for sure. And then
definitely
get that on Blu-ray. You can't really beat that.
Yeah, I feel like just it being on Blu-ray, I am interested in that, because I haven't seen it in many years. I remember seeing it in the theater and crying and all that.
Why were you crying because of what happened to Ash?
Yes,
were you really?
I cried. I was 10 and I cried.
like you didn't have any concept that, oh wait, the movie is not like TV show, like he's gonna survive somehow, right?
No, I had no concept of that. I thought this is it. I legit had a moment.
Oh my god. How did your parents but yeah, I'm interested to see how Pokemon Go is gonna be that's coming out next month, right? Or is that coming out later?
I don't think they've announced a release date yet, but it is this year, for sure. But that's one of those ones that, the trailer for it is incredible, and we all know it's not gonna look like that, but it does still look pretty awesome.
Oh, and then I don't think you mentioned that little Pokemon Tekken crossover that's taking over.
Oh yeah,
you can
the Pokken
tournament.
Yeah,
you can't forget about that.
That's officially coming to the States, which a lot of people were worried
worldwide,
that it
actually.
localized.
Yeah, worldwide too. Worldwide release.
It's
crazy. It's always a struggle just getting everything on time together, but all of a sudden Pokemon's able to do worldwide releases at the same.
Yeah, because it's that big. I remember them announcing Pokken Tournament and people saying, "Oh, well, they probably won't release it," and I'm like, "Really?"
You want them to lose money?
They're gonna throw it everywhere because it's Pokemon. People will come for it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those franchises now.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think we might not have gotten the first games. We might not have gotten there if Satoru Iwata didn't do the programming for it.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy.
Close brush, yeah.
Crazy.
It's really interesting to think about. Maybe after all this stuff comes out and anniversary passes, we could do like a proper Pokemon podcast or something.
You're gonna do that Pokemon podcast by yourself. How about that?
Probably, yeah. It'll just be me rambling about Pokemon for several hours.
Like, just have a trailer, just have like a video clip of an episode, and you're fine. That'll be all.
Yes. All right. So, other news. Any other news that is anime manga related that you are excited about, Justin?
Not excited about. Not really excited about it. The only news that really like made me like go wow was like Crunchyroll is not gonna stream anime for non-premium members after February 1st in Canada. It's interesting. I mean, I guess because as explained, the Canadian dollar is it's not good right now. Mm-hmm. It's just plummeting. So it's just like, ew. So as a business, you have to finally make a business decision, and this is purely a business decision. The only thing I would say is, look, Canada, you can get premium and you'll be fine. If you don't have premium, you won't be fine. That's basically it. It feels like when I saw like commentary on it, it's like, oh no, they're keeping anime streaming out of Canada. They're not really keeping it out, and it's just for the catalog title specifically. It's just a case where you just have to actually subscribe to the service to actually see the catalog titles. The only thing that will be hurtful is if you're in Canada and if you're searching for an anime title just randomly, you won't be able to watch it for free. That's the only thing. So that I think is a little underrated, but I think it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, that's an important one to address, because I feel Crunchyroll, because with their past, they were originally a piracy site, as we all know, but now they push, because they know how big an influence free streaming can have on the community, and they push so hard to have as much as they can available worldwide, that I feel like making that kind of move, that like they know that this is the only option they have right now, that it wasn't like a middle finger to Canada or anything. It was just an option that they had to take.
Yeah, this is basically where you find out, Crunchyroll, as much as they want to, they have to, they're going to serve the anime fan as best they can, but they are ultimately a business, so it is what it is.
Yeah, they are a business, but, they gotta balance the two. They are also fans as well, which is why I feel they've been so successful. Yeah, it's just one of those kind of cruddy things.
Yeah. As for anything that's personally excited, at this point, nothing really came on my radar this week that actually excited me a little bit. So how about you? Did you see anything that got you excited this week?
Take a guess which series I'm going to say.
Oh boy, I have to get. Take does it start if it starts with a U? Am I warm?
No.
Okay, never mind. Then I have no idea. I thought you were talking about Utano.
No, you're way off.
I thought you were talking about Utano Prince Sama, but okay, never mind.
Yes. We'll just mention that we've got a season 4 release date for fall. Yay!
I thought that would get you excited, but okay.
Yes. That was literally this morning. So.
Okay, never mind.
Yes, that. But the other thing, Attack on Titan Special Edition releases for volumes 18 and 19.
Oh, actually, forgot about that. Sorry.
Including more OVAs. I guess that model for 17 worked out for them, releasing the Ilse's Notebook OVA that way, because they are continuing that and they're skipping ahead a bit in the numbered releases for the OVAs. Because there were a couple more that were released after Ilse's Notebook. That there was a side story one, and then there was kind of a silly one that was based off of... it's at the end of each Attack on Titan volumes, there's the really silly in the next volume preview, and there's stuff like Sasha punching Reiner in the face, and Armin falling downstairs, and things like that, just like 1 or 2 page gags. And they made an OVA that's just based around those.
Wow.
So that came out, but that's not being released just yet in the States, although that'll be fun when that does come out. But what is being released for the next 2 English volumes is the No Regrets OVA, which is Levi's backstory.
Okay.
Which I already have imported because I did not think that they were going to release this.
It's like, oh no, I know Attack on Titan's really popular, but it's not that popular, right?
No, it was just I did not know who would be handling the OVAs and in what format. I honestly thought that Funimation was going to do some kind of bundle thing like they did for Full Metal Alchemist a couple years ago. And I could not wait, so I imported instead. But I will be double dipping on this because I want a subtitled version.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
But this is the No Regrets OVA, which is based on the No Regrets spin-off manga series, and which is also the only spin-off as of 2 chapters ago in the Attack on Titan main series. This was confirmed as the canon backstory for Levi, which this was a big point of contention within the Attack on Titan fanbase. A lot of people do not like this backstory. They feel it is too much man angst. Not my words. Because I like it a lot, as people who have hung around me a while know. I have cosplayed as a character from this spin-off for 2 years now, Isabel. So I have a lot of fondness for this spin-off. But it was confirmed officially as the canon backstory 2 chapters ago. Isayama directly referenced it in a panel, so no more arguments. It is canon. It is real. And it is getting an English release for at least the OVA bits, because we already had the manga for 2 years now.
The manga and not the light novel, I take that back. No, there's
light
novel, right?
No, there's a visual novel.
Okay.
That's probably never getting over here.
Okay. Well, if you hope long enough, maybe it will come out.
Maybe. Yeah, well, I will say all the visual novels have some other adaptation. Every visual novel that came out with which if you're listening and have absolutely no clue what I'm talking about, special edition DVDs in Japan for Attack on Titan came with visual novels, some of them. They were No Regrets. There was one with Mikasa and one with Annie, and that has become Lost Girls, which is also coming out in English this year. I forget when. That's coming through Dark Horse, I believe. That's a light novel and a manga. And there's some other more spin-offy one. The stuff that has new material.
You mean Lost
light novel and manga.
Muse, Lost Girls. You mean Vertical?
Vertical, yes, thank you. That is coming out through Vertical. I remember that being announced. But that's Mikasa. Mikasa has its alternate universe deal, and then Annie's is right before spoilers happen.
Yeah, spoilers.
But anyway, out of all of the spin-offs that Attack on Titan has, which is a lot of them, No Regrets is the first to be 100% confirmed canon. So we're getting the OVA versions, which cuts down a lot from the manga and visual novel. Personally, I don't like what they did with some of that, with the way that they took it out. But I will say that the second half, somebody needs to give Levi's Japanese voice actor an award for what he did in that second half, because it is absolutely gut-wrenching. Absolutely fantastic acting. I would love to see the English cast take a stab at that, to be honest, but I don't know if that will happen. But it is, it's one of those has to be seen to be believed. I will say that, just as a general warning, it is in some parts gorier than the show. It gets really intense. And even saying that, they even cut out some of the gore that is in the manga. So they don't go all the way in, but they go pretty dang far, so it's interesting.
Is that the difference between having OVA instead of being on TV?
Yeah, there's that, and there's also it's interesting. It's both OVAs are about the length of a TV episode, and they still they put in the opening theme and ending theme and credits and all that fun stuff. So it's like one of those things that could theoretically air, but probably won't. But yeah, so I'm really excited for that. See how that's handled. It'll probably be similar to the Volume 17 Special Edition, but I'm glad that that's coming over here and that more people can see it. So if you are interested in that backstory even a little bit, I highly recommend it. It is not what the Yaoi fangirls told you it is, which I'm not even going to touch that.
You will one day.
Yeah, not going to touch that can of worms, but I will say it's not what the Yaoi fangirls told you it was, but it is still, it's very, very good. And if you are interested in the lore of the story, it is the little missing link in Levi's backstory, because other stuff gets covered in the main series. But not this bit. And this is the last bit that's missing from there. So fun for me.
Yes, only
in terms of plot.
Only for you.
Angst and gore and sadness for my favorite character. But that's my excitement. So, I got nothing.
I got nothing. I have no other news that interested me this week. What has interested me this week, or I guess this season, the winter anime season. That's interesting, right?
Yes, and no.
And no? Oh boy. What's with the no? What's going on?
Because there's not much interesting me personally this season. I've only picked up 4 shows, and one of them is a short. And I've done the thing where you let Twitter watch things first, and then you see what looks good. Yeah,
you have to have an anticipation of what you might want to see this season, and then all these other shows I'm gonna let Twitter watch it or have some reviews of it. I know I'm gonna watch these shows. Come on, Muse.
Well, I did have a few that were like that, or 2 that I was feeling that way. For Prince of Stride, which I call Prince of Parkour because that's what the name should be, if you ask me.
I meant to watch that actually. That.
Yeah, it was Prince of Parkour and Seiko Boys. Those were the 2 I was like, yes, these are immediately on my watch list. Prince of Stride, second episode was a little weaker than the first, but it's fun because if you like sports anime, it's a lot of fun. It's not really distinguishing itself in that little subgenre so much so far, but it is a lot of fun if you enjoy those character types. At the same time, I will say that I do not know the names of any of the characters because I've been calling them by character names from other sports anime. Like, there's one guy who wears glasses and he looks like Haru from Free, and he acts like Haru from Free.
Oh boy.
So his name is Glasses Haru in my head.
Oh no. Look what Free has done to you. Look what it's done to you.
Well, you get a stoic, black-haired boy who just wants to do parkour. What am I supposed to call him? And the other one was Seiko Boys, which is a short, and it is about an idol group that is made up of Greek statues, literal Greek statues, and they are voiced by popular voice actors, but just you've got these really photorealistic statues up against an anime style, and it is just hilarious. Just that disconnect, I think, is really hilarious for me, and the fact that they play it completely straight. That they're just yes, these statues talk, and they're fully aware that they are statues, and they're going to be a singing idol group. And that's the show. We're just gonna completely own that.
How long is this?
It's they're 10-minute episodes, I think.
Around there. Guess that's reasonable.
One was 7 or so. Yeah, it's a short because you can't really. That's one of those shows that it would be awkward. I feel if it was strung out for a full length episode, but it works for the length it has, and it completely owns how ridiculous it is, which works in its favor. But Yeah, those were the two I was completely 100% on board before they aired. Everything else I just, well, the other.
I guess my winter season has been a little bit more active than yours, I guess. Well, I haven't. There's some show I want to watch Princess Stride because it like had like my favorite. Had one of my, I guess my favorite scriptwriter. What was his name? Taku Kishimoto, I think is his name. Like he did. He was a series composer, composition writer for Bunny Drop. Again, Silver Spoon and Haikyuu. So I said, okay, you're on my list. The other show he's working on this season is Erased. And that is a very, very good show.
Yeah, that's one I'm seriously considering.
It is very good. I'm pretty sure I'm going to butcher the description of this, but I guess the best way to describe Erased, or I guess like the one sentence or kind of multiple sentence to describe Erased is, you have a struggling manga artist who kind of feels regret. Like he had a moment back when he was a kid that he can't remember, but he knew this kid. He didn't know what happened to her, but ever since then, he's kind of like blamed himself for that moment, for her being lost. And then with that, he now has this ability where he gets to reverse like time a little bit, or go back in time, just to a point where he can figure out what's wrong with a certain moment and try to fix it. For example, like in the first episode, he's just on his bike after he's working this like part-time job. He's taking over some delivery over to a place on his bike, and then after he passes by a truck, he then reverts back like 5 minutes later, and then he immediately knows there's something wrong. What's wrong is that this truck driver, he's not driving. He's about to run over a kid. He basically, the main character, he goes out of his way to stop the truck. He gets himself hurt. He manages to survive, but it's just the little things, the atmosphere, the timing of it, the music. It feels like it actually flows together really well, and it tells its story in a reasonable amount of time. I've only seen the first episode so far, so I can't speak to the second episode just yet, but it looks like it's gonna be a pretty darn good series. The other series I still recommend is there's another. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna butcher this one, but Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju. That should be the name, but if nothing else, it's Rakugo Shinju. That's the one I remember. The last two names of that. That is a very good show. It's the first episode's 48 minutes basically, and as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is interesting. When I looked up the winter season, I was looking at shows to watch. This intrigued me because I was thinking, okay, it seems like it might be Japanese culture heavy, but maybe I can get into it. It is by Dean. Studio Dean has this good reputation of being really popular and everything, but it seemed like kind of interesting, Rakugo and stuff like that. Then I watched the trailers of that, and I was like, okay, this seems kind of interesting. I definitely am gonna watch that. Then you know what I found out like a couple of days before it started airing? The director was the one who directed the Rosa Maiden 2013, and I didn't love Rosa Maiden 2013, but I liked how it went about his business a little bit. And it kind of got me. It made me interested in the Rosa Maiden world. So I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna try this. I'm more hyped for this than I thought, and I was blown away. It had like a Rakugo actual performance in the episode. Like I think it was maybe like 10 to 11 minutes long, and I actually worked because it set itself up perfectly. You have the main character. He just got out of prison. His immediate goal is to become a Rakugo player because he met this one guy who came to perform at their place. Rakugo. I should probably describe Rakugo a little bit. I guess it's more like it's a way of acting. It's probably wrong description, but it's a form of acting. You can do certain types of styles with that, and the one style that performer did that impressed the main character was he did like a Shinigami performance, which basically scared everybody else in the prison who actually showed up to watch him, and then it really impressed the guy so much that he thought, yes, I'm not gonna do this crime stuff anymore. I'm just gonna go try to learn how to be a Rakugo player. So it set itself up really well to the point where I actually wanted to see was the situation where he actually plays the Rakugo. The reason he does this is because his boss, he shows up at his doorstep and he wants him to come back. But obviously the main character doesn't want to come back. He wants to play Rakugo. So the person that's teaching the main character, he ends up challenging the boss to show up to one of the main character's Rakugo performances. The main character knocks it out of the park. Basically, he was really impressive. So now basically he's on his own. He's now trying to learn how to play Rakugo, and I never really thought I was gonna be invested in Rakugo, but the way it set itself up, it was really good. Like, it feels like that show. It feels like this show and Erase. If you're not going to watch anything else this season, you're perfectly fine with just those two shows.
Because I went down the more silly path, but I have been looking at those shows because I've been.
Yeah. The other shows I'm watching, so far, Active Rate is one. The only thing I think I liked about that was it was like it was very active, I guess you would say. Like you didn't have like no really break or anything like that. Sometimes it could be a bad thing, but I felt in this case for Active Rate it was a good thing, where you get to see the characters come in. They're all basically different. You have like this one, the person who first introduced you, she's like kind of like a hacker who's been assigned to this experimental division. She goes there thinking she can change it, but so far the characters they don't really change. They're their own guys, they're their own people. They're definitely very different. I thought it was pretty solid first episode. I gotta check out the second episode, hopefully a bit. I did watch Phantom World. I did watch that.
That's the one I've seen the most about.
It is, yeah. It's that KyoAni show where I'm just like, okay, what could this possibly be? It has to be something good, and I'm like, wow, it looks great. I mean, it looks great. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what direction it's trying to go in. That's the thing.
I think a lot of the complaints I haven't seen it, but I feel a lot of the complaints people are complaining directly to KyoAni, and I feel it's a case where it's not them, it's the source material they're working.
I mean, it's clearly them working on a light novel. I'm not going to say trash because I'm getting a little. I mean, it feels vibrant enough and kind of funny enough, but this is definitely the mediocre material that KyoAni is adapting, that's for sure. So
but I feel people are yelling at them directly for what they're adapting, and I feel like that part's not their fault.
Oh no,
they're not the ones who wrote the the boob bouncing scene or whatever. that wasn't them. They're just animating it. As
material has been like officially made available, I'm not sure. It could have been something they made up or something. It is hard to say. I've seen somebody mention that it wasn't necessarily the materials episode, but I don't know. So it is what it is. But it's definitely a colorful show. That's for sure. What else have I watched? I think I watched Dimension W, which is the big Funimation title of the season because they're actually like putting money into that show.
Right. Yeah, production credits on that.
I was excited for it because it finally got to get my man Kante Kame. He directed Bunny Drop, but since he directed Bunny Drop, he's worked on In Order. Actually, it's probably the wrong order, but I believe he worked on Na Na Na. I think Oroshura came first, but he worked on Oroshura, Na Na Na, and that boring girlfriend. What was it called? Long title.
That one with the long title.
Yes, that describes perfectly everything. But yeah, he worked on that boyfriend, that that boring boy. Why am I messing this title up?
Because it's so long. Yes.
Well, I think I remember Sakiano. I think was that
it was something like that. That was the.
I'm going to go with that. That's the one. That's Sakiano, a short one. I'm sorry I forgot the long title, but it is what it is. But he's worked on those 3 shows, and I feel like aside from OASG, he's made those shows like better than they actually are. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, it looks like he has working material. Like this guy, the guy who created the Dimension W series, Yuji Iwahara, I think is his name. I may have messed up the first name, but I think his last name is Iwahara. He did the character designs for Darker Was Black. Apparently, this was kind of a pretty popular seinen manga. Well, I don't know if it's popular, but like Cookie, she was saying like she knew like a lot of people that were talking about Dimension W. So it seemed like it had that. So the staff seemed kind of strong. The synopsis was pretty long and lengthy, I admit, but it didn't seem like it might be something I could just grow into. And I watched the first episode, and I'm thinking it's okay. It's too early to say if it's gonna be bad or good. Like it has like I guess the best way to I'm gonna describe this. This is actually gonna be really hard. Yeah, it's gonna be. It's actually difficult to describe because almost a lot of things happen. You just have this really cool character. One of the weirdest, like, one weird opening, that's for sure. This opening is just like pretty kind of out there. And then, how am I going to describe Dimension W? Wow. Okay, I guess I'll just say like it looked pretty good. Sounded okay. It still has some development to go and stuff like that. But it seems like it could grow. We'll just have to see how much it will grow, and maybe we'll get a sense of where it wants to go after a couple next couple episodes. I think that's all I've watched so far. Oh, and season 2 of Assassin's Classroom because I like the first season, and
I need to catch up on that. That is also on my list, but I'm not done with the first season just yet. But that is definitely on my list. The other sequel I'm watching is Snow White with the Red Hair, which that picked up pretty much right where it left off, and seems like it's gonna. The only other show I've watched that I forgot to mention that's not a sequel is Norn 9, which is a
Otome game.
Yeah, Otome game, and I've heard it's had other elements to it. So I guess it's a hybrid Otome game. I don't know. Have not played it myself, although I want to. And the first episode of that was interesting, although I'm not entirely sure what's going on. It felt like the first episode did that thing where it packed a lot of information into one episode, and it felt like we were kind of running through a lot of things so that it could get to a good stopping point for the first episode. But it was interesting. It's this story where there's this giant flying ship. They call it a ship, but it's like a little mini planet thing. And they call it the planet even. But it's this place where these teenagers with supernatural powers live. And they pick up this pink-haired girl one day, and she does not know who she is. Like, not in an amnesia sense, but that she's been isolated. She doesn't know what her real name is. All she knows is that this traveler came to her years ago and told her to wait for the ship and to get on the ship when it shows up because they're going to need her power. And so most of the episode is just like running through the other characters and what the ship looks like. And the show itself is gorgeous, which I was impressed by because I know when I did the newcomers list for the site, that there were a lot of newbies on that list, which made me a little concerned. Like, there's one thing when there's one or two. There's another when, like, all of the major production titles are completely newbies. And I don't know in what sense these people are newbies. I don't know if they, like, just got out of school or they know a guy or something. But it does look gorgeous, so I will give it that. And the script, like, it it definitely feels like an Otome game. Just the second the main character was like, I don't know what my name is, I'm like, oh, I can almost see the character name screen popping up right now. But so it's definitely holding on to some of those elements that don't necessarily need to be in an anime adaptation, but I'm interested, and I'm willing to see where this goes. It's got kind of like a weird anime, like, this is a bad comparison, but it's got kind of like an anime X-Men feeling, I guess. We're all these kids in this school with supernatural powers, and we're gonna go and save.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my!
So this could either be very good or very bad. But I'm willing to give it a shot.
Like, I feel like Tokyo ESP got called like an X-Men show, and then like Charlotte got called like an X-Men show. What is going on here?
I feel like Charlotte was more of an X-Men show because they were actually in a school, and then they were like actually collecting them for an underground deal. But I say, like, I'm comparing Nor 9 to X-Men because I have nothing else to compare it to. Like, that's a stretch comparison.
Oh boy.
Like, that's a big stretch comparison. But I have nothing else to compare it to. Just teenagers with superpowers who wear school uniforms, that's all I've got. Well, we'll see. Hopefully it'll distinguish itself a bit. But I'm in. For now, I'm in. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you get to tell me how great it is every week. You remind me that I was actually watching another show that it was pretty much the only show I didn't like so far this season, and that would be Iokana. I was mini hyped for this because this was based off a visual novel by the same developers who made Koi to Senyo no Chocolate. That would be Love, Chocolate, and Elections. And the only thing it had in comparison to that show was the fact that the first episode was intensely boring. And I would say that this had more stuff happening in it, but it was still really boring. You had this like kind of ditzy, mostly kind of not ditzy. I mean, it's mostly ditzy, but kind of not really Genki or anything that high energy. But she's like in between, I guess, of that. She is like she's going to a school where flying is involved, and it was really like why is this like some like it had like flying, it had like characters meeting up with each other, but that's probably the problem. A lot of characters were introduced, and sometimes it can work out. And I think the first episode of Love, Elections, and Chocolate did the same thing. Mm-hmm. But this felt like in a manner that was very boring. Like they even had one sequence where I think they had like they introduced a character, but then like it was only for like 10 seconds and that was it. So yeah, it like she's basically like going through everything with just sheer stupidity, honestly. It's like this one scene where she hasn't learned how to fly. She doesn't know how to fly yet. She ends up getting herself in a race against somebody from a different school who can fly. She's like almost like maybe, well, I don't know if she's actually pro, but she's definitely been in races before. Of course she's gonna lose. It's like not even a question. It's like, why are you doing this? What is happening? It's like, why? And then of course they find a way to make sure she gets something out of it. But it's just like all that happened, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm ready to just drop this right now. The only thing that's gonna save it right now is the fact that the first episode of Love, Election, and Child was really boring, but it got a little bit better after that. And I know this is probably gonna have some sort of shocking twist or whatever at some point, and I'm interested to see if it can improve from there. But if a separate episode doesn't work out, I'm just gonna drop it because I can just catch up to other stuff, honestly.
Just do the 3-episode test, and if you still...
no 3-episode test. Like, that first episode was that boring. It really was.
Oh man, that's pretty bad.
It really was.
2-episode test.
Yes, this is gonna be it right here.
So since I haven't watched too many shows from this season. My impression of this season so far is just when I looked over everything that was airing, aside from the ones I just immediately jumped on, which I just looking over what was airing this season, there was a lot I just like wasn't sure about, or it just didn't interest me at all. So this season feels like pretty empty to me. I mean, I'm catching up on stuff I missed last year, so I'm still watching a fair bit. So that's not what I mean when I say empty, but just that I feel like it's a slow season, and it's the first really slow season we've had in a while, I think. There's still a lot of content out, but not a lot I feel like is gonna stick. Because I just think that, last year around this time I was watching Death Parade, which was my number one anime of 2015, and so it's kind of hard to, but just it at the same time, like, these kind of seasons happen, you get kind of ebbs and flows of just, stuff that interests you and stuff that's just like, okay.
I'm pretty sure, for me, last year, the spring, a bit of the spring and the fall season were kind of light and stuff to, like, remember from me. That's why I'm currently impressed by the winter season. I feel like there's shows that I want to watch. Like when I was doing like my research into what shows I was looking forward to, I'm like, okay, got Ajin, which needs to come out soon. Got Dimension W. You got Active Ray. You got Rakugo Shinju. There were some titles in there that I'm like, yeah, this should be interesting to see. That's for sure. And then you even maybe a surprise. Well, I was hoping. Oh, right, that was another show I did watch. Bronchi, something like. Oh my god, what's his name? That Sangizen's show with the 3D models and everything. But I felt like you had some shows in there that I'm like, yeah, this should be interesting, I think. And then I'm watching it, and I'm like, yep, this has definitely been an interesting season so far for me. This, like at this rate, like I like Erased and Rakugo Shinjo are definitely like had the potential to be like my favorite this year. That's how good they've been so far. We'll see about some other shows, but those are definitely two. So I feel like I got some shows that this is definitely good, and I feel like it's a pretty strong season so far.
Yeah, I mean, I feel kind of that same way in the sense that like I'm still watching shows that I'm enjoying a lot. So I feel that a bad season, or at least a bad season by my own definition, is just that there's absolutely nothing here I want to watch. And that's not the case for this season. I've still found things to enjoy. So it might be, in my case, it might be less than usual, but that's not a bad thing. It's just now I can just focus on those shows that I'm really liking, a little more easily since I don't have such a big watch list. I can check out Erased and, that kind of thing. Instead of saying, like, no, I'm already watching 20 things, I can't. I'm missing out on stuff.
You just, like, go into your backlog, which I'm pretty sure is really big.
Oh, yeah, I've been working on my backlog for the last year. For those of you listening who may not know, I was in grad school hell for the last year. So I was not watching a lot of things. But I'm catching up. Like, for instance, I'm finishing up stuff from even just last season. So, yeah, like, I appreciate seasons like this, to be honest. That, they're a little slower for me personally, then I can dig into other things.
Right.
Any other things that you would like to add about the winter season?
Go watch Erase. Go watch Rakugo Shinjo. If you just need two shows, that's all you need to watch.
All right, so then I guess that wraps it up. So that's our show. Again, I'm Muse. You can find me on most social media websites as Subdued Fangirl.
I am Justin. You can definitely find me on Twitter at Kami_Nomi.
All right, so we're trying to make this a bi-weekly show. So we will see you probably like maybe beginning of February a bit.
Yep.
So until next time, thanks for listening.
Okay, thanks.